Okay, we need to talk about this Durham report on Trump. We try to do like 80-20, local, national news. But I think since I dump on Trump so much, I've got to give him this one. So even though I don't like Trump, I do believe that there have been some witch hunts against Donald Trump. 100%. And I'm just like, let it go. I mean, they've tried to get that man every which way possible. And except for the civil case in New York regarding sex abuse, have failed. So anyway, there was, and here's the article from Fox News. The headline is, Durham finds DOJ and FBI, quote, failed to uphold mission of strict fidelity to the law in Trump-Russia probe. So basically, if you're not familiar, so John Durham was a special counsel appointed to look into the Department of Justice and the FBI's handling of the Trump-Russia investigation, which behind the scenes was called, the investigation itself was called Crossfire Hurricane. So if you see that reference, it's referring to the code name for the investigation into whether there was any coordinated effort between the Trump campaign in Russia to influence the outcome of the 2016 presidential election. So special counsel John Durham goes in to look into basically the behind the scenes of the investigation, and he found that it was really a true failure by the FBI and that the FBI never should have launched the probe in the first place. And the report itself is 300 pages long. Certainly, I always encourage you to go directly to the source and just to read the report for yourself, although I understand some of you don't have the time to read 316 pages. But I think there's two key takeaways, is he said that he found a lot of confirmation bias, which is a problem when your job is to investigate things on the merits, where, the FBI or players in the investigation wanted it to be that way against Trump. So it was a confirmation bias. It's like if you've got a guy who murders his wife, right? And, the husband always did it. So cops go into the investigation and be like, the husband always did it. And so they're basically singularly focused and looking for evidence to prove their theory. And so Durham said that's kind of what seemed to happen here. And also that they didn't apply enough criticality to evidence that was given to them by Donald Trump's political opponents, like the Hillary Clinton campaign and people tied to Hillary Clinton. And they should have looked at that evidence or those leads in a far more critical way. It's the old, consider the source saying. And so in that sense, he found, and I'll just read a couple excerpts from the report. He said the department did not adequately examine or question these materials, referring to, stuff provided to them by political opponents, and the motivations of those providing them, even when at about the same time the director of the FBI and others learned of significant and potentially contrary intelligence. So to me, it's like some very obvious stuff that if you're doing a criminal investigation, especially one of that magnitude, that you'd really want to dot your I's and cross your T's and say, okay, is there any there? Who is providing us with our leads and with our evidence, and are we applying enough criticality to it? And the answer is obviously no. And you don't have to take it from me, and you don't have to take it from people who are uber fans of Donald Trump. In fact, I saw this clip from CNN's Jake Tapper.
Regardless, the report is now here. It has dropped, and it might not have produced everything of what some Republicans hoped for. It is, regardless, devastating to the FBI, and to a degree, it does exonerate Donald Trump.
Devastating to the FBI, says CNN, and to a degree exonerates Donald Trump, says CNN. And then also on the Republican side, Representative Nancy Mace, she does not like Donald Trump, never has. She tweeted out, I am the furthest thing from a Trump shill. But what the FBI did to him is effed. It's un-American and should never happen to anyone again. And look, we have to be a nation of laws, and we can never support political persecutions. Now, again, do I believe Trump is a perfect guy? No. I believe he has a lot of moral shortcomings. I don't want him to be the president again. I never voted for him. But at the same time, every time you launch one of these probes, investigations, impeachment, and it falls flat on its face, I think you're just empowering him. And I think that's what this serves to do. I think this serves to give Trump a nice little boost as we head into the 2024 election cycle. And no one should support, no matter how much you dislike Donald Trump, No one should support a half-baked federal criminal probe into the President of the United States based in large part on information given to them from his political adversaries. That shouldn't be controversial. It shouldn't be partisan. So really interesting stuff. If you want some light reading material, there's 316 pages of that Durham report out there for you.